Well, we're going to try and go over tar today, which is going to be interesting. So for the first part, I already have a tar file that's downloaded, but I'm also going to make mkdir temp, and let's get into temp. And I'm going to, let's create a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, shoot. So we're going to mkdir-p to make the parents as well. And let's do one. Oh, that's this way. 1 through 5. A shoot. A through. Let's do all the way to Z. And then uppercase A to just D. Okay. So that'll create a lot of directories because we'll have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of those will have A through Z, and all of those A through Z's will have A through D. Do that, ls. We can see them there. If you do ls1, we can see all those, ls5, see all of them. So we created a whole bunch. So we have a lot of stuff, just empty folders. That's fine. So let's, yeah. So that's a good place to get started. Now, let me quickly, I should have taken a few better notes. So I have this. Let's first extract. So I'm going to move the site.tar to here so I can move it up. So it's in my temp and not going to clutter everything else. Now, if I do an ls-l, I can see, yeah, my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there and shows my site.tar. First thing I want to do is let me tar up things. So if I want to tar, and it's secret, and I'm going to compress it with Z. So there's different types of compression. Z is one type, but there's other options. I'm going to do this verbose, and then I need to tell it the name of the file that I'm creating. And the file is going to be, I'm going to call it numbers.tgz. So I'm naming it this to help me remember. I did it, this is a tar, but I also gzipped it. That's this Z. Now there's different types. Gzip's the main one I use, but different algorithms zip things better. So that's one of the options that you have. Now, tar we use a lot on Linux and Unix and even on Mac. But for compatibility, unzip it can be ran on any of those. So sometimes we use unzip just because Windows doesn't play along. Okay, and now I want to tell it what to grab. So I'm going to grab the folder 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it should have done it. So we can see it actually progressed rather quickly, but the reason why is it wasn't really doing a lot of data, right? This is just empty stuff. Okay, so ls. So now I have a numbers TGZ and I have a site tar. So I've tarred things up. And let me just hit the up arrow twice so you can see with my commands. Once again, this was tar dash czvf. So this was create, gzip it, verbose, which means it showed this, and then telling it the file, this needs to be the last thing. File is numbers.tgz. That's where I created it. And I created it with TGC so I would know that's how I created it. Now, sometimes people just create it without a good name. So this one does not have a good name. This is actually gzipped. If we do tar, and now we're going to extract. So this is X and Z, since it's gzipped. We can do verbose again and file site tar. And we have a bunch of stuff that came out. So if do ls/l, you can see what I created was this folder, so these 1, 2, 3, 4 folders. Okay. And we can see that this looks like it's some type of a web page, right? So let's actually run a pretty cool command. So I wanted to introduce you to xargs. Xargs is where you take a command. So let's do find And if we just do dot, we're going to pipe that to xargs, and let's grep for http ://. And I can see here's my HTTP, which that's not really good to have that. In fact, let's just see how many there are. We're going to get some errors. So let's send our errors to dev null. And let's pipe this to a word count -l to see the number of lines. We have 1,107 instances of HTTP. Just for kicks, let's do the up arrow, come over, and let's change it to HTTPS. And we only have 932. In this day and age, almost everything should be HTTPS. So in a later thing, I'm going to actually go through and change that. Change those all programmatically from HTTP to HTTPS. Something I'd expect most system administrators to be able to do. Granted, when you do something automatically, you also mess things up automatically. So we're going to do it in a way that is probably not the best, but will get you at least started down the right path. So there's one other thing I want to do with you today. And that is GPG. So GPG is an open file encryption and signing tool. GPG is, well, let's just play with it. It's a way to encrypt things, and we'll encrypt it. So let's do this. Let's echo this is cool, and we're going to send that into my file. Okay, so if we cat my file, we can see this is cool. Well, if we do gpg-c, so this is going to encrypt it just with a password. So it's the same password. This is not using keys. You can do it with keys, but we're going to do it with just a password. My file, and it's going to say, okay, what's the passphrase you want to use? And I'm going to put a password in here. So yeah, and let's see if I can even remember it. They didn't match. So let me create another one I'll remember. Okay, so I created it. Now, if I look here, I can see that there's not only my file, but we also have myfile.gpg. Okay, so let's look at so let's cat myfile.gpg. Wow, that looks kind of weird, doesn't it? Where if we cat my file, it just says this is cool. So I'm going to rm my file, and so it's gone, ls. So if we cat my file, it doesn't exist. Okay, so we've gotten rid of it. Well, that's a bit of a problem, right? If we need it back. So now we can just gpg myfile.gpg. And it's gonna, since we use the same session that we encrypted it with, it already knows our password. And it's going to unencrypt it. So if we do an ls, and now we can cat, we'll just keep using cat, my file. And you see it's back. This is cool. So the really cool thing about GPG, cat myfile.gpg, and cat my file. So this doesn't look anything at all like what's above it. Okay, and this is encrypted. This isn't hashed. So that means I can recreate this is cool from this if I know the right key, the right password. So I hope you enjoyed today. We did tar. We both created a tar file and we untarred a tar file. And then we encrypted a file and we decrypted a file with GPG. So good job. Have a good day.